Hey Nippers, it's me, Wild Neptune. Today, showing off the Sweet Dreams battle using Chizuru. Let's go. Alright, so here we are at the Sweet Dream boss, level 4, 9 out of 9. Going in with a team of Ray, Tressa, and Chizuru. So this is kind of a jank team just for fun. The builds are a little bit specific for this setup, although not like fine-tuned exactly how you want it. Obviously, there's a lot of RNG in getting all the cars and epiphanies that you want. So this one can get the job done. So now this boss starts with some RNG, unfortunately, as he'll eat up a card. And if he eats a card that you really had to use at the start, you basically have to start over. So let's look at the cards here. So this one here we don't really need right now. But Bounded Dust, I have the one that activates 2 random cards that other combatants. I believe there's a place for all of the variations of this card. This is the one that I typically like the most overall. The ones that also reduce 2 random cards by 1 is also pretty good, I would say. And the one with lead can also be good. I have a lead build I was working on, but it doesn't really work, unfortunately, for this fight. Of course, we have Futility here. And we have this one, Karmic Flames, where it puts on the Cursed Shackles, which will help me stack my Will-O-Wisp, the flame buff, up there. So let's hope that he doesn't get rid of, well, you know, that happens, unfortunately. And that really slows down the run, as you might see. But thankfully, we did get a 4-hitter right here, which will help us a little bit. So the boss actually has 2 types of stacks. The first one will be this Void stack, and you have to get this down to get the cards that he ate up back. And the second one is he starts with these Hunger stacks, and it's basically morale. And you have to get his Hunger stacks down by hitting him. Multi-hit attacks do count. So let's start with using this to get the Shackles on. You also use this too as an upgrade, and we can also do this right there. And you see his stacks already going down quite a bit there, so that is very nice, and he'll hit us a lot less fiercely. So he eats that card up right there, and this lead card goes off automatically. And it looks like I will get my cards back right now, as that multi-hitter really did help, so I can use this now. So next turn I'll start activating cards that I, you know, automatically. And here I think I'll just use this one just to finish with my turn and keep these. We'll keep this one in my hand since it has retain. And he'll hit me a couple of times here. And here we go. Okay, so a few cards go off by themselves. Obviously something costs 0. So, you know, not the greatest in value, I would say. We can do this, give it a card we don't really want from our deck. I guess we don't really want this one. The shield card, which I didn't get rid of for some reason. Alright, so let's hit this a couple of times, draw a couple of cards. We can do this one more time to get rid of another card we don't really need from our deck. Now the thing is, a lot of these cards are actually pretty good overall to have, especially since a lot of them will be cast for free, I would say. So I guess with this Dagger Throw is the weakest link right there. But we use the Tsuyomi. You know, it's the one that gives me more hits to the Shadow Blade. And since it's already at a plus, we'll use it right here. This isn't really a Shadow Blade stack comp, even though we can do that. You know, just get it to plus and, you know, let it fly. And there we go. So some more cards go off. Unfortunately, it uses a 2-0 cost. That's one of the downsides with it, is that you either build your deck with, like, you know, high 1s and 2s, and maybe a couple of 3s to get the most value out of it. But then, if you don't really hit those cards, you can brick pretty hard and not have as many options, or the ability is kind of wasted. In this case, it was a little bit wasted, but that is okay for now. Let's do all of this here. We can use this, and this will give me 4 as it's an exhaust one. And let's just line these up here and fire them off. I guess I should have done this first while I had the cards in my hand. but that's okay, live and learn. So, confiscation right there. Hit the rally just because we have it in our hand. We can actually do this because it's 0 cost, and it'll get me these here. We can use this one more time, and this is the one for 1 turn, so we're not going to use it. This is a plus, so we will use that. And okay, does a pretty good amount of damage. We get it back right there. So nice, a bunch of Agony stacked up, and now I have these Shadow Daggers in my hand, which maybe it will use up for free. It doesn't. Now my algorithm got me this card, which the AP I can't gain because of Chizuru's ability thing, unfortunately. But that shouldn't be, I would say, it's actually kind of problematic overall. I'm actually going to use it to get out of my hand because this composition has no way of really getting it out of my hand. And even if he eats the card, unfortunately, it just goes back into my hand, not by a draw. So that kind of sucks. So this is not a plus yet, so we can do this here. Let's use this strike just because I can. Okay, we can hit this here, and this will upgrade, and it is now a plus, so we will unleash it for a little more damage, and there we go. So a lot of agony hits right there. As these Shadow Daggers are still in the hand, and well, goodbye that card, and you see his Void stacks are once again back, and I'm using a few more cards. Let's hit this here because it is a big multi-hitter, very strong overall. This is a plus again, so we will just use it right here. Just do as much damage as we can. And let's just use this one here. And it's just another multi-hit, get some more cards. We can use this, and we can also use this confiscation. And now my hand is full with a bunch of junk. I'll be honest with you. But that's perfectly fine, as having a full hand like this isn't the worst thing overall with this setup right here, as you'll see when you see my gearing and everything like that. And okay, all the cards go off like that. Alright, let's use this white here, and we can use, I really wish here it told me, like, I guess it does. I said to like hover over them. That's kind of annoying though. Is this a plus yet? No, so let's just use this one to get it out of our hand temporarily, and see those agonies hit one more time. So alright, some more cards go off. We do get a break right there. Pretty nice. Use this confiscation right here just to have it. Sure, this is a multi-hit, we can use that. This is another multi-hit, we can use that too. We can hit it with this +2 hit, and this is a plus once again, so we will just use that. Right, pretty good right there. We get a Shadow Dagger back, and now he is pretty much dead, so we can just use this ability by Ray to do a little bit more damage. I think this should push him over the threshold. It should. Okay, it does. It didn't show that he was going to die, but I think he would have died even, regardless. But yeah, that is the fight overall, just using these kind of jank builds, which I'll show off right now. So first off is going to be the Ray, and the Ray is having a pretty standard overall build for her, I would say, with an algorithm, a guidance, confiscation. You see that the fate memory value is actually kind of low at 120. So, 2 Dark Blades, got rid of the heal, Predators. Ideally, I actually think I would rather have another rally for this particular fight, because there are times where the boss is just gonna kill you before you can kill it, or you want to do a couple of things before you eat your stuff, or just do whatever it's going to do, and that rally can really help you overall increase the boss's turn count, especially with this comp where the action count can be kind of high at times. So the rally would be really, really nice there. Obviously, the confiscation in this battle isn't that great. Not in this battle, but in this composition. Obviously, drawing the card is nice, but since I don't really have a lot of overall draw power, and I can't really benefit from a lot of forbidden cards that often, especially because the ones I have is an upgrade right here. Most of the time it's just a draw 1 for 0, and Ral is just better in that case. But it is what it is. Gear is whatever, 4 more cards in hand. As you see, this is like, as soon as I get my advanced Shadow Blades, or Shadow Daggers online, that's like the entire fight. I'll have 4 more in the hand. A mulligan thing, and this lead card is okay. Of course, this file was made before Chizuru came out, and this could have been something else overall, like just any other trinket would have been better, but it is what it is. Not really worth making a whole new file just for this fight. So potential still the same as it has been for a while. Partner is the Nyx right there, and you can see her stats if you want to see it. Yes, she is really stressed out right now, so here you go. Okay, next up is going to be Tressa, and this is the data that I'm using right now on this particular composition. Now, I do have a couple of other Tressa files overall, so got rid of the heal on this one since we don't really heal at all in this fight. It's not a Mika like composition, so the upgrade reload doesn't really help us overall. So the only thing I really regret is this one right here. This I didn't get any of the other. I didn't get the 0 cost one, and I didn't really want these other ones just to clock my hand to be used, on accident. Not an accident, but like kind of having another 0 cost to basically be like, oh hey, it's like my ability that uses cards for free uses a 0 cost instead. So I thought this one was like a good compromise overall. Not sure that's the right way to go, but it is there. I do also have 3 shadow reloads that cost 0 that give me the 2 advanced ones. So the advanced ones, as you see here, are 1 cost, and they have retain and retrieve, and they give 2 bits of agony times 2 and do some damage. I'll be honest with you, I don't know if these cards themselves are actually worth the 1 cost they cost to cast overall. They seem more like a point, like 7.5, like whatever I would say in their overall power. So maybe a little understated, but when you cast them for free sometimes, and when you also can use them to basically just fill up your hand with other stuff, that's not bad. Now, the only downside is that I have this right here, which isn't very good over here, because I don't really have any anything that costs 0. So this does nothing, unfortunately, right? I didn't really think about that at the time when I made this, but it is what it is. So obviously this could also be a little bit better overall. Obviously here when exhausted, gain fixed shields. Again, not the best one here because I don't really exhaust a lot of cards with this setup either. So yeah, kind of janky equipment right there, but it does kind of work overall with the whole setup I was going on. Like I said, don't really want to rebuild units just to do this, and it took me a while just to get the Chizuru save file to do this fight. Potential right here, pretty built up overall. Obviously, I can get a little more crit and everything like that. Maybe I'll go and do that. Tressa, definitely worthwhile, I think. Here is the gear that I'm using on her. You'll find that her gear is actually pretty good overall. So I am over the 30% I need for the damage over time, thankfully. So, not bad right there. And finally, we have the Chizuru. So we have her own partner here, Izuki, which wasn't used, I don't think. So, and here's the file. So a lot of cards, obviously. We had the shield, unfortunately. Also knows I have this too, 1 AP. I just forgot that she gave that her ability made it so that this doesn't do anything. So I could have like not picked this and not had the shield. But you know, again, it is what it is. So I do have 3 of the Tsukiyomis, which is, you know, the card that a lot of people like going for to stack the hits. I see a lot of people, again, just going for like the one-shot thing, which is fun, but I would say not very efficient. I think that once you get your Shadow of the Moon up to a plus, you should just like use it right away, and you know, that's it in my opinion. So I don't know, that's just what I do basically with this composition. So yeah, Karmic Flames, you know, reduce the, you know, play 1 afflicted, you know, create a card. This is the one where I think 2 of them particularly, or well, 3 of them are okay. So this one where it just goes away for the entire fight on a boss, since once you use it on a boss, it's only enemy there. This is out of your draw pile. The other one is the one that has +1 hit. That can be okay. Or the one where you reduce the cost of a card by 1. That one's also pretty good. Again, all have the use cases, I would say. This one too. This is probably the most controversial card, and most controversial like thing about her kit is that she limits your AP gain, or actually eliminates your AP gain outside of your base 3 that you get, which is pretty annoying. Actually, it actually restricts what you can do with her quite a bit. I understand that it's very flavorful, you know, based on her character and stuff like that. But there are a bunch of like bonuses you get because of that. So this one activate 2 random cards, as you see right there. We try to do this using these advanced shadow daggers. You know, to how successful that is debatable, but it is there. And there are other like interesting and cool things you can do with other variations of this card, but again, it is kind of clunky overall. So Oni Hunt, I think this is arguably her best card. This, like, depending on which ones a DC get, it's pretty strong actually. Like this one, which epiphanises like a 4x hit, and then it also does more damage to the next bind card, which will be this Shadow of the Moon. Right here, see the bind, which is pretty nice combo, especially when you stack it with the vulnerable overall. So pretty nice there. The other ones too, where you can create like a couple of these, like lesser powered one, but they cost 0, and just fire them off, and you can stack more of the Will-O-Wisp or whatever the buff is called. So pretty nice there. Also a pair of confiscations to line the whole thing up. Gearing here, not the greatest. So unfortunately, I would have liked to have the one that gives me attack power based on cards in hand, obviously. You know, not lucky enough, unfortunately, to get that. It is what it is again, you know. This just proves that you can go in with relative jank, I would say, and still succeed overall. A potential, though, pretty built up, I would say, yeah. Full crit chance, you know, overall here, you know, not everything built here, but you know, not a small investment. She is at E2, I would say, and you know, so obviously the E2 is pretty nice because it automatically lets you start stacking your Shadow of Moon stacks right away, right after you use your plus, so which I think is beneficial. So though that is a nice thing, and memory fragments are going to be right here, and it is, I would say, pretty good actually. This one is, yeah, not that bad actually too. Deal the agony I have, you know, okay right there. This one I wish, again, which was void damage, but you know, it is what it is. I guess I have one here, but I don't think, but the subs are like so much worse that it, you know, doesn't really matter. Let's check in here to see if I have another one that's void damage, and I don't, unfortunately. So, and then again, another one right here. So Alright, so that's the video. If you liked it, I would greatly appreciate a like, comment, subscription, all that stuff. Anyway, thanks for watching. I'm Realm Neptune. It's been a good one. Till next time.